All right, we're back. Just a little quick break there. Okay, so let's do some call-ins. This is the first time we've ever done call-ins on Value Town, so this should be an experience. But we're for Patreons and subs, that you guys are going to be just first priority, and then after that, then everybody else basically. So let's see who we got first here. Hold on a second. See who Mean has here. Gosh. All right, what kind of questions do you think we're going to be getting, guys? Well,
No idea.
Reynad, what's your favorite color of underwear?
Oh, yes. That is
Hey,
definitely...
Reynad, is it true you invented yourself? Like, it's high quality.
Come on, you got to have like more faith in that. All right, Seepels. Seepels is here. You got a question? Are you actually there? Can't hear you.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Cool. Got a question
All right,
for
cool.
us?
Yeah. I wanted to bring up a topic that Noxious had actually touched on in a thread this week. He was kind of talking about the fact that Control Warrior has, become kind of the polar antithesis of the face decks, but kind of in a bad way. They can deal with any single threat with under 5 mana. They deal with groups of cards with Brawl. And the main problem might actually be armor. Armor has kind of been getting out of hand. It's not uncommon to have to deal 50 to 70 damage to a Control Warrior to kill them. So I just wanted to kind of get all your opinions on, if armor is out of hand, do we need tech cards to deal with armor, or is this not actually a big issue?
I mean, it's the only class that's doing that, right? So it's a cool thing in Hearthstone, I think, that there's one deck that gets to play with that much life throughout a game, whereas most other games, you only have to deal about 38 damage. So for me, I think it's cool. Just like another aspect of the game, and it's the only deck doing that. But
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm surprised you even saw that comment because it was on a thread that basically disappeared pretty quickly at some point. The OP decided to delete it. But basically, my fear, like my only problem, I think, with Control Warrior is not so much the fact that they're able to stack armor, because they've always done that. Like, even if you go back to the era of pre-Nax or Nax Ramus, like, Control Warrior was always around and stacking a crap ton of armor. My problem is that Justicar Trueheart gives them 4 instead of 3. When I look at something like, Priest, like, I like Priest as kind of my main class. I feel like we got shafted because Warriors on one end get to use it proactively. Not only that, but they can also do it preemptively. So, like, my issue with the armor stacking is that it gets a little obscene when you start accounting for just a card played on curve. Like in a mirror match control, or even against specific decks, you can always get very high when you start looking at bash plus shield block. The armor smiths these days don't matter nearly as much, but they still add a little bit. But the Justicar Trueheart is the big complaint I've got. It's really not the armor mechanic on its own deserves maybe a single tech card. Like, druids have, like, I know it sounds ridiculous to say, but druids do have armor. Mages have Ice Barrier. Like, it doesn't really matter that much because we don't get to see it. But technically, Blizzard intended for druids to use Bite and Claw with their hero power to get some armor. So the mechanic was there to be used by multiple classes, but only one of them gets to use it with Shield Slam and get a ton of value from it. I only mind the fact that there's no way to really deal with a high health count warrior besides punching its face, to the point where there's a point in the game where you can just escape concede and you've lost. Like, if you look at your hand and you look at the fact that Justicar was played, say, on the coin on turn 5, you might as well escape concede. There's a lot of matchups like this. So yeah, I'd like a tech card. Probably just a minion that deals more damage to heroes with armor, something like that. Something ridiculously easy to weave in.
there is a tech card, man. It's I was actually playing a lot of Priest or the day before yesterday on stream. I took Fatigue Priest from rank 200 to top 50 over the course of maybe like 10 games or whatever. But that's hours of play with that deck. Anyway, I ran into the problem you're describing where it's like, oh, just a card True Heart's played and you gain like infinite armor.
Sideshow Spell Eater, no way.
Yeah.
Shine Spell, there
Oh
we
my
go.
God,
That's true.
Oh
That's true.
god,
That's what I played.
That's
And,
a funny one.
Oh, that'd be so sick, dude.
Yeah, it works. That's what you have to do with Rogue to get Poison Blade to work. Except in this case, it's actually a viable
Oh,
way
wow.
if you expect just the card to be there.
Like at the end of the day, the how do I put this? Like, there's always some cards that are better in some matchups, right? Like Ysera also feels OP in a control mirror because if you stick it and it doesn't die, like you win the game. And realize that there's like no counterplay with just a card, but it's like the only matchup, right? Control on control, trump card for a warrior, the class, yeah. But that's like, I think it's okay that there's a card in the game that does that, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Non Mystic also feels broken with no counterplay if I'm playing a secret class, but
Oh, because on Mystic, yeah. But because on Mystic only works like half the time, so it's a risk for the person playing it too. All right, Seeples, thanks for the question, buddy.
All right, thanks for taking the time, guys.
All right, next up we've got Tim from England. That's actually his name. So, hey Tim, can you hear us?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, welcome to the show, man.
Pleasure to be here. So my questions with the possibly increasing rate of release of expansions, they're like bringing out lots of new mechanics, and last one they've brought out obviously is Discover. That one's still rolling out at the moment. What mechanic would you like to see implemented into Hearthstone to make it a more fulfilling and deep game?
Ooh, good question.
Counterspell. No, I hated that.
That's already
so
there.
bad.
What do you mean?
What they need to put in is like Fairy Dragon, except only for your opponents. That would make me quit Hearthstone probably immediately.
Gosh. Well, all right.
me too. That's what Magic did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard to say, right? We're not card designers. It's not like I have some secret mechanic in mind that's going to fix everything. It's more that I think Hearthstone just needs like more cards faster, basically, because I see that during like the weeks that expansions come out, there's like more pro players at higher ranks with much worse decks. Like everyone's experimenting with random stuff, but like the experienced players are usually like, what I'm saying is like better play gets rewarded when new cards are just rolling out, and then if the meta is settled for a few months and there's no like new cards coming out, then people just kind of autopilot whatever the mainstream stuff is. So I feel like there isn't like a specific mechanic that should come out. It's more like there should just be more stuff coming out in general, you know, and that would make Hearthstone more deep and fulfilling. It would keep us entertained longer because I think we digest content faster than Blizzard thinks we do. Even the even the people that don't do Hearthstone stuff full time, like it's easy to play through an adventure pretty quickly. So I just hope they make more stuff, but I don't think there's like one mechanic that's an easy fix.
So would you rather them break up like big expansions, you know, like the GVGs and TGTs into, you know, smaller, just, you know, every month type of thing? Is that what you're suggesting, basically?
Probably make a video about it eventually, but my fix
Okay.
would be to just make a 54 card or 52 card. I actually don't know how many weeks there are in a year. I think 54.
52.
That's cards in a
52.
deck.
Once
Anyway,
a week?
I would make
Once a
I would
week?
make one adventure that's 52, 52 cards in one adventure. Just an extra adventure. Don't break up the existing stuff, and then release it weekly like Tavern Brawl. But you just do one wing per week, but you only get like one card. I would just have that be a year-round thing.
That's
That'd be
actually a really
hard.
cool idea.
Yeah.
For
that'd be-
content release, it's actually pretty simple too, because it's just a year-long progression track
Yeah.
that people are just on.
Yeah, and that could be like Azeroth or whatever. I didn't play World of Warcraft, but like something bigger scale than this one little.
I like it.
It'd be tough to pull off though, right? Especially if it was
Nah.
themed, right? If it was themed,
You couldn't tell everyone what the card was coming out next week, because if you told everyone the 52 at the start,
Well, you wouldn't tell
death,
everybody.
so you-
Well, you wouldn't tell everybody the 52 because you want to have the flexibility of changing shit, right? I mean, so
Yeah, if they want
you
to take
wouldn't do
like
that.
like Christmas off or whatever, or Thanksgiving. Like this week, I think we're not getting a new wing, right, or something because of
yeah,
Thanksgiving.
we're not getting any wing. That's right.
Right. So like once in a while they need to take weeks off if there's a bug or something. But a lot of cards, 40 something.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Just to throw out a mechanic, what do you guys? What are your thoughts on just discarding from opponent's hand mechanic? Good or bad thing?
Do I start playing Fist of Jaraxxus because that exists? I mean, that's the question. I don't know. It's just I feel like Hearthstone's hand size can be small enough sometimes. Like the price of losing a card in Hearthstone is very punishing to the point where you don't play even Succubus, which is above average, and it was for a while stat wise. Like it would have to be a 4/4 for people to even look at it. So the cost of losing a cards is really heavy. And if I look at like that mechanic in Hearthstone, you'd have to cost those discard mechanics very highly.
Well, what do you think about discarding your opponent's hand?
I know that's what I'm saying. Like
just
the
in
cost
general?
of losing
Okay.
a card is massive.
Yeah,
So
okay,
if
yeah.
the opponent could do that to you, they'd have to prize that spell, whatever it's called, like very highly. I think.
Yeah. Ray, what do you think?
It's like it's something that's Blizzard like explicitly said they'll never do.
I know.
Like when the game first came out, and I'm okay with that. I don't. I think like with the way Hearthstone is, the only thing it would give good counterplay to is like Force of Nature Savage Roar combo.
Right.
But people that like think discarding would be a fix for some things like don't fully realize how actually tilting cards like Thoughtseize are, like in Magic, where you look at your opponent's hand and you pick one for them to discard. Like,
Oh,
it,
God.
it's not what they do. You don't remove it from your opponent's hand. You put it on top of their deck, and then you like break your monitor. Like you pick it. Like, oh, he has Force of Nature Savage Roar. Let me get rid of this Savage Roar. Now I'll live. Like, what do you think he's going to draw? What do you actually think is going to happen?
Right. Right.
Those cards, like, I don't know. Anyway,
Okay. All right.
but the mechanic in general, I don't think it would add or take away much from the game. I'm okay with them not printing discard cards.
Yeah, I'd rather not see it personally.
All right, Tim. Thanks for your question, buddy.
No problem. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. All right, let's take maybe one or two more fubs. It's going well. No trolls yet. Fubs. It's good.
Right.
Hey, welcome to Value Town, man.
What's happening?
Got a question for us?
Yes. What do you think about the upcoming Curse of Rafam and Cho combo for Warlock?
Low Walker Show with Curse and Rafam.
Oh,
I mean,
wow. Let me think
It's
about that.
funny because I brought that up when I made the card review about it, but like it's for fun. Like how do you protect in the first place? Number one, like how do you protect Show ever? Number two, will your opponent ever play along because he's already one turn behind, right? There's like no way for him to really like have. It's gonna be a thing to play in fun decks, but I don't think it'll start spawning some kind of crazy Warlock, Lore Walker Show, Curse of Rafam deck.
What does Cursor of Farm do? It deals damage to them if it's in their hand?
Yeah, so they have to
yeah.
get rid of
Let
it.
me
But
bring
then
it
if you
up
have
real
Show on the
quick.
board, they technically give it back to you, and then you have to send it
Yeah,
back to them.
yeah.
I
It's
paid.
gonna keep
That
bouncing
didn't
back.
answer my question at all. I pay 2 mana, right? And then I
I
give
put
them
a
a
curse
card.
card. Right.
Okay. And then at the beginning of their turn, they take 2, or how does it work?
It doesn't say. It says that each turn Blizzard.
Yeah, as long as it holds it. Yeah, as long as you're holding it. Here we go. I put it up. I'll put it on the screen here real quick.
And deals 2 damage, right? And then they have to pay
Right.
2 to play it. Okay.
Mhm.
So that could actually be good, right? You have to play it in a deck where you care about dealing face damage to them. So you play it in a really aggressive zoo deck. And in that kind of deck, Lore Walker Cho is already decent, right? Like we've seen Lore Walker Cho be played in zoo. It's really good if you draw it early, and it's mediocre if you draw it late. But in general, Cho is okay in zoo. So you actually could make a zoo deck with this. The question is, would it be good? Is it better than the cards you're taking out to add these things? I'm not sure.
Aye, definitely. Think about it. You do turn 2, right, Dark Peddler. Turn 3, your Imp Gang boss. Then turn 4, Cho, Curse of Rafam. Turn 5, Faith of Cho. And that's it. You're settled.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
pretty good.
That's kind of interesting, actually.
I'll try it out.
Yeah,
That's-
I
that's
like
a
it.
cool
I
idea.
like it.
For sure. Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, it's obviously something to try out. Just I don't know if it'll be good enough to include. I mean, Curse of Rafam can be a dead card in some cases, unless you already have tempo, and then there's scrambling to get rid of it, and then it's fun. Then it's really good.
All right. Well, thanks for your question, Bubs. It's
All right,
definitely
no problem.
something
Catch you guys
a lot of us will try, I'm sure. All right, last one, and this has been great, guys. Oh, we got to do this more often. All right, God GAWD is the next caller here.
Здравствуйте. Сегодня я смотрел новые карты, и было очень
I got it.
интересно увидеть
Oh, you got it. You got it.
новых мурлоков. Эй,
Hey,
Yeah.
you speak
Hello.
English?
You showed us, пожалуйста.
Oh, what is this, man?
yeah. So, wait a second. Okay. I got it. Wait. So today, I was watching new cards, and I seen a lot of Murloc cards, and I was feeling really nostalgic about 2013. And yeah, is Murlocs gonna be back?
Okay, so our Murloc deck's gonna make
Question.
a return from, you know, with just some of the cool cards that, like, you know, just the paladin and things like that.
Noxious, you want to take this one? I feel like I've been talking too much.
Sure, why not? I feel like the 0-cost Murloc is with the 7-cost Shaman spell. Like, these two together feel like the single most impactful combination of the new Murloc arsenal. Like, it doesn't look like much, but when you can play like a 0-mana card that says, okay, you know, gain 1 mana, which is a coin, which is also a Murloc, which can also become a 3/3 immediately if you have the 7 spell, like anything can happen on the back of it. I feel like there's something there for shamans to exploit, like something actually really good for them to exploit, because it feels like a better bloodlust in that case. And with most Murlocs also costing as much as they put like Murlocs on the board, like a Tidecaller costs 1, so it doesn't really cost you more to play anything can happen. It's just something you slap on top, kind of like when you play a 1-drop before Sea Giant. When you play Tidecaller, you get 2 Murlocs. When you play the 0-cost, you get 1, so you're basically gaining mana. There's got to be a way to make it work. The thing is, you have to put in like 10 to 12 cards, possibly 14 in your deck,
Yeah.
just to make the Murlocs work. And at that point, I feel like the way you'd have to play Murloc is like you maybe would, you know, when you play something like a tempo, like a mid-range shaman, and then if you play Murlocs on curve, they're notoriously bad usually. Like, you have to play them all at once. But I
Yes,
don't know.
yes.
So
I think like normal Murloc decks probably won't work because the early Murloc minions are worse than things like Haunted Creeper and Ruby and Egg. Like the Murlocs just don't have Death Rattle, so it's weak to AoE, it's weak to other minions. But I think a combo Murloc could be a deck with Paladin where you play a lot of Murlocs just as normal minions, and then on turn 10 you play the Murloc spell, and you get back all the ones with charge and try to kill them in one turn. I think that could be pretty good. But I don't think that like Murloc deck that floods the board and plays everything is awesome is going to be too good. But I imagine I'll get blown out by it at some point.
At least once.
Yeah.
We'll all get blown out by it.
Yeah, boys. Let's hope that Pirate deck's gonna make a huge comeback next expansion. Eligible.
That's right. All right, buddy. Well, thanks for the question, and hopefully we'll see you around then. All right, that was God there. Okay, Murlocs. Nothing like a little bit of Murlocs. But I think that's going to be it, though, guys. I think we're about out of time. But we'll definitely be doing call-ins again. I think this is really cool, getting a chance to, actually talk with you guys versus just, reading text. It's something that I don't think we've never done on Value Town. So it was kind of fun. But Noxious, Reynad, thanks for, doing the show this week. Want to do some shout-outs?
no, none for me.
None? All right, cool.
No, I'm not very
Fun,
shout-out-y.
Shout out to Hype Tingara this weekend. I think they're playing DreamHack. Hopefully they do well. Yeah, I got nothing, man. Shout out to Mother Russia. Yeah.
To Mother Russia. So,
For the
how
motherland.
much Russian do you know? You know quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
mean, I understood him when he was speaking,
Yeah,
right? It's
exactly.
not-
Yeah, just making sure you understood him. That's really cool.
I was gonna translate as soon as he finished his question, but it was like he got up to the point of like, oh, I've been looking at new cards today, and then he didn't really finish because it's a long question.
So was that actually a
question.
question in Russian? I thought he was just kind of
Yeah, he
like
was just asking.
greetings.
No, he was just
Oh.
asking what he asked in English and Russian.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't. I was like, oh, troll, but I was like getting where had the troll button ready here, but no, it was a real question. It was really great.
He wasn't a troll. Yeah, it's just I have a really bad accent. I'm self-conscious about it. It's super hard to speak English and Russian both without accents. Your mouth moves in completely different ways. But
I'm the same way with Chinese, man. My accent is terrible. But yeah, guys, thanks for doing the show, Noxious and Reynad. It's always a pleasure. And Noxious, obviously, the times you're on the show, it's always a lot of fun. You always have some great insight. And then Ray, each and every week, it's always good times. And all the viewers, thanks for tuning in today. And all the callers were definitely, thanks for calling in and really helping that segment, helping us introduce that segment. But the VODs are going to be on youtube.com/ChanManV shortly after. I'm already uploading the first part of it. And then the audios, of course, will be on iTunes and on FeedBurner. It's on Stitcher too, but it's kind of Stitcher's weird, man. I thought Stitcher was going to be a really cool thing for non-iTunes people, but I'm not so sure anymore. But yeah, definitely look for Value Town. You can just search for either Value Town or Hearthstone. You'll see the podcast come up on the various places. But that's going to be it for Value Town this week, guys. So for Noxious, Reynad, and ChanManV, we'll see you next time. Later.